360 is presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance.
A year ago at this time, Dak Prescott was just coming off the NFL draft. He was no one's idea of a sure thing. In fact, 7 quarterbacks were picked ahead of him. Prescott was just hoping he'd make the Cowboys roster as a backup to Tony Romo. Now, Prescott's the foundation of the franchise in Dallas, and Romo's traded in his helmet for a microphone. How does a rookie quarterback make that kind of impact, demonstrating so much poise along the way? It's all about the woman he'll be thinking of today. This is The Lead.
Dak Prescott, please. This is he. Dak, I got somebody who wants to speak to you. Hello? Yes, sir. Dak, this is Jerry Jones, and you're a Dallas Cowboy.
How about them Cowboys?
Before he became the face of America's team, this was a moment for Dak Prescott to celebrate, but also to remember.
Being there with all the family, all my buddies, my brothers, but one thing was missing.
Dak Prescott grew up here in Houghton, Louisiana, a small town outside Shreveport. He was the youngest of Peggy Prescott's 3 boys.
Well, we grew up in a trailer park. Me and Dak shared a room for most of the years growing up. And then he actually moved in with my mom.
She was a mom, she was a dad, she was a coach, she was a teacher, she was everything, a provider. The most selfless, hardworking, caring and loving person, but tough at the same time.
Dak's mother was the manager at a truck stop. As a single mom, she didn't make much money. But her boys had exactly what they needed to grow into football players.
Started off at the little field behind our house. Didn't care how old you are. If you wanted to play football, then we brought you out there, and that's where it happened.
There'd be times I'd get hit hard, run the house crying to mom, and she would say either stay inside, or if you go back out there, don't come back in here again crying. So that's when I had to make a decision just to go out there and toughen up.
At Houghton High School, which he entered in 2008, Dak led the Buccaneers to a district championship. Dak's mother rarely missed a snap.
She sat in the same seat every time right there on the 50-yard line. And I mean, when everybody was yelling, all you could hear, get the hands off of here, quit playing pity pat.
Several schools in the SEC recruited Dak, but he signed with Mississippi State, and his mother was at his side. But following Dak's freshman season, Peggy started feeling sick.
She come home and said that, she'd gotten lightheaded at work. She just didn't feel herself. She went to the doctor the next day. When she first came and told us, it was, I have colon cancer.
The cancer was advanced, already at stage 4.
She didn't really tell Dad. We didn't want him to worry about that.
Why do you think she didn't tell you for so long?
Because we were so tight. Being a mama's boy, sleeping with my mom for the time that I did, just knowing that she knew what she meant to me. And I think that's why she tried to hold it for as long as she could.
In the fall of 2013, Dak's mother finally told him she was sick. Dak was splitting time as the Bulldogs starter.
He will throw. Wide open. Touchdown.
His mother would come to see him play. But the cancer was spreading. In the middle of the season, Dak went home to see her.
She was sick. I mean, I had to help her up and help her walk to the bathroom at those times, and that's when it got tough. It started to take the mom that I knew away.
2 weeks after that visit, Dak was called in to see his coach.
The family called us and they said, can you get him over to the office? Because we want to make sure he's in a controlled environment. I had him come in my office and let him get on the phone with his whole family.
Before I even picked up the phone, I already knew. She's not here anymore, and it was tough. It was tough.
Peggy Prescott died on November 3rd, 2013. She was 52.
I just wanted to be with my brothers. They were the only ones that had any idea of how I felt. I got to go home and be with them immediately. We kind of talked and what Mom wanted us to do. I joked to my head coach that my mom would be pissed that I missed the two days of practice that I missed. So got right back on the plane and went straight to practice.
4 weeks later, Mississippi State faced its arch rival, Ole Miss. The game went into overtime. Dak Prescott. Prescott, Mississippi State.
It was special, and that was the first moment of being in the end zone, scoring a touchdown after my mom has passed. That was my moment, just to point to my mom and honor her at that moment.
It felt like she was there. You know, it was just a very, very special moment for all the family.
In the fall of 2014, as a junior, Dak continued to astound. When the season started, the Bulldogs were unranked. But by the beginning of October, they were #1 in the nation. As a player, Dak was now a star. Off the field, life was more complicated. During spring break in 2015, in Panama City, Florida, he found himself on the wrong end of a parking lot brawl.
Couple of stitches in the face, road rash on the feet, my back. I took a beating, simple as that.
No one was arrested, and no charges were filed. Following a solid senior season, in the spring of 2016, Dak disappointed scouts at his pro day. Just 2 days later, he was arrested on suspicion of driving under the influence. The case was eventually thrown out because the breathalyzer samples were ruled invalid.
Were you drunk?
No. I thought I was fine all the way up until the guy tells me to turn around and puts the handcuffs on me, and then I'm just confused at this point.
What would your mother have said to you?
I should have been pissed. Super pissed. But once again, something I learned from.
Dak would fall all the way to the 4th round of the NFL draft. He was picked 135.
How about them Cowboys?
But after Tony Romo was injured, Dak was named the starting quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. On the eve of his first regular season game, he sat down to write a note to his biggest fan.
What did you write to her before your first game as the Cowboys starter?
Probably just a bunch of wows. That's my moment to reflect back in time, to flash back to Pine Creek Trailer Park, to flash back to her picking me up from practice, to flash back to her being sick, and just bring everything back in a full circle of everything I've been through.
Prescott looking left. Nobody open. Starts to run. Backs up. Circles back to the left. Throwing wide open end zone. Touchdown. Cowboys win it.
I remember her telling me, let me be your story. All greats tell a story. She'd be happy. She'd be proud. She'd be excited. Now it's up to me for her to live through me.
Dak is planning to spend this Mother's Day back home in Louisiana with his grandmother, Peggy's mom.
E60 is presented by Liberty Mutual Insurance.